And next up on the grievance list is a little thing that Freightliner has had for a long time, and you know, it never was really a bad thing. Actually, it was kind of a cool thing. It's a thing that they call e-coast. So economy coast, I guess that is what the E is for. And what that system does is it basically senses when you're going on a downhill grade, and it will take the automated manual transmission and essentially basically throw it into neutral. It disconnects the powertrain, so you're free spinning with no resistance of the engine and powertrain as you go downhill. And great idea, right? That you know, why burn fuel if you're going downhill? Let the momentum propel the truck. So that's one concept that in actual practice was a pretty cool thing and manageable by the driver. And that's the key part. It was manageable by the driver. So starting with my first 2017 Freightliner, that was the earliest one that I had. The 2017 Freightliner Cascadia had that e-coast in it. And it was more of a simple and rudimentary system at that point, that it would only really engage on a true downhill. So you come over the crest of a hill, you start going down. Somehow I'm assuming it had some sort of sensors, gyros or something that would figure out that you're going downhill, and it would put it in E, which is, you know, e-coast, basically neutral, and you go down the hill. And what was good about it at that time was that if the truck did put itself into that E mode, it could be that you were maybe just in the process of passing another truck, and you may have just been at the very tail end where you're finally just getting past that truck, and you're going to get out ahead, and you're going to, you know, move over into the right lane in front of them and be on your way. Well, and then all of a sudden, while you're passing that truck, the truck would go into e-coast. Well, as the driver, it was very simple. All you had to do is just immediately, you know, you'd recognize, you feel the powertrain disconnect. I mean, you actually feel it. And you go, oh shit, the truck just went into e-coast. All you'd have to do is stomp the throttle. You put your foot on the throttle, and it would immediately give you back your engine and your pulling power, and you would continue on your way. There was very little lag. There was very little fuss or commotion or anything. You know, it was that simple. Just put your foot on the throttle. It's an immediate driver override, and off you go. Well, that wasn't good enough apparently for the engineers at Freightliner, because they have tweaked and worked on this system so much to the point now where in this current model 2024, it has become an absolutely impossible system to live with. Again, it's something that I first noticed in the truck, and thank God I have the ability to turn it off, and I turned it off immediately, because what they've done is they've taken an otherwise good system that was actually useful to the driver, and it was useful in terms of actual fuel savings, and they overdid it, and they turned it so automated and so over the top that it's unusable if you ever want to get somewhere. And you don't want to pull all your hair out being frustrated with the truck constantly disconnecting its powertrain. So the way they have it set up now is that as soon as the truck senses even the slightest downgrade, and I'm talking about like 0.5% or 1% downgrade, like almost nothing, it will just disconnect. It'll just go into e-coast. And if your cruise control is set at, let's say, 65, it'll just go ahead and slow you down to 50. It doesn't, you know, it just won't stop. It's insane. And if you try to hit the throttle, there is a forever lag between the time that you hit that throttle and the truck actually going, fine, okay, we'll let you drive. It's literally like a 30-second delay. It's absolutely insane how long it takes to regain the control of the power of the truck. No idea what they were thinking in terms of, maybe my guess is that, let's just further override the driver in the name of fuel efficiency. And okay, that's great on paper, in theory, in a boardroom, in a PowerPoint presentation to a bunch of beam counters. Yeah, maybe that makes perfect sense. But you know what costs a lot more money? A f***ing accident. That costs a hell of a lot more money than your fuel savings. One nuclear lawsuit from an accident, and you can kiss all your fuel savings right out the window. Bye-bye. You're out of business potentially with the right kind of lawsuit. So again, this whole design of taking the controllability away from the driver, it's absolutely insane. The other thing it does is disengaging the engine and powertrain on the downhill side of an actual slope. Again, fine, makes sense. Have at it. I had the truck do it all the time in previous trucks, and I let it roll, and it was fine, and it did what it was designed to do. What it does now is that the downside isn't good enough. No, they wait until you're at the very last part of the uphill side of that slope, and you're not even over the crest of the hill, and it's disconnecting your powertrain. So as you're full throttle on, whether the cruise control is on and doing it, or whether you're driving by foot and your foot is doing it, as you're chugging your way up that hill, the last bits of that ascent up a hill are when the engine and powertrain are working at their max to keep you at speed. I mean, they're working. And all of a sudden you've got this ecosystem just turning your power off. So you could be doing, again, let's say 65 as you're approaching the crest of this hill, and if you're loaded fairly heavy, as soon as you lose that powertrain, you immediately drop like 10 miles per hour. Immediately, like snap of the finger, you just drop. Now what's happening to all the traffic behind you? Again, you're creating a hazard where people aren't expecting you to do that. They're not expecting the truck to just stall and stop in the middle of the f***ing road. It's absolutely insane. I mean, did they test these systems on a real road before they released them? I mean, if they did, how the hell did they release them? It's astounding to me. How stupid can you be? I mean, so, yeah, I turned that shit off. It works to about, I would say, 95% efficacy, turning the system off. Unfortunately, what they've also done is that if you do turn that off, okay, fine, now the truck won't switch itself into neutral per se. But what it will still do is cut your throttle. So if you're in cruise control, and again, let's say you're set at 65, as you get to the top, towards the top crest of a large hill, it will cut your throttle. It won't disengage the powertrain like eCoast will, but it will, all of a sudden you'll lose your throttle. Your throttle input goes to zero. And if you step on the throttle to try and wake it up and go again, there's this ridiculously long delay for the truck to figure out that, oh, the driver's trying to take control of the powertrain again, or of the throttle again. Okay, fine. And then it kind of begrudgingly relinquishes the control of the throttle back to you, the driver. But again, it's like a 30-second delay. It's insane. At that point, you've already dropped 10 to 15 miles per hour. And everybody behind you is wondering, what the f*** are you doing, driver? Well, you're not doing it. The truck is doing it. It's an absolutely asinine system. And it is, in my opinion, it's dangerous. Absolutely insane. You are going to be causing accidents. I guarantee it. It's going to cost people injury and even potentially lives if you maintain a system like that. It's insane. So I need to figure out through our guys in the shop and stuff if there's a way to turn that programming off, because again, I'm the one strapped into this truck. I'm in an 80,000 pound, 72 foot long death machine. If I'm going to be here and if I'm going to sit in this seat, I want 100% full control of everything this truck does. And that includes the throttle. And if I push the throttle, I want that f***ing engine to respond. I don't want a 30-second delay because some f***ing engineer and some f***ing accountants decided that that would be a good idea to save fuel. F*** all of you. You're putting lives at risk. So yeah, I guess my two biggest grievances then basically boil down to matters of control, right? So, and the two of the three most critical things, I mean, what are they? They're steering, their control of the powertrain, and braking, I suppose, would be the other one, right? So, I mean, you know, they've taken the throttle and drivetrain control away from the driver, and that's wrong, period. It's wrong. I don't care what the upside benefit is, and the only thing I can think of is some supposed fuel savings, which I have a hard time believing, because you know every single driver that's operating the truck, their first reaction when the truck starts doing that is to turn the shit off entirely, or to slam on the throttle, you know, and then how much fuel are you burning to get back up to speed? I mean, it's just stupid. It's shockingly dumb to me that they would put such a thing together. But anyway, yeah, you take away throttle control and you take a steering system that will take over or try to take over steering from me as a driver. I ain't having it. That's not an option. So essentially, all of that technology, I want it off. I want it turned off. I am a safer driver without it. Period. So that's it on the entire automation and safety crap that's on the truck. I wonder how much less the truck would cost without it. Interesting thought, right? Because I literally, if I could, I'd yank it all out of the truck. It's absolutely useless to me as a driver. But anyway, that's kind of it as far as the truck is concerned. And I know I've done a lot of bitching, pissing, and moaning. But overall, it is a beautiful truck. I really do love the truck. There's nothing wrong at all with the truck. The only things that I have issue with are the intrusive technology that is, in my opinion, doing far more harm than good. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Freightliner. You know, you had systems before that worked just wonderfully well. And the key to that equation was that the driver could override them immediately. Now you can't. That's a problem. So, other than that, beautiful truck. But I'm hoping that at some point I'll be able to sit with my service guys and go through the programming of the truck, and maybe there's a way that through programming some of this stuff can be corrected. I sure as hell hope so, but we will see. So that's it on the truck.